What's up, YouTube? Another beautiful day. You know, we thankful to be breathing today, just like we all should be. You know, we all should be thankful today that we breathing. But let's talk some real politics, real street politics. What the real is, how we being programmed, how we being divided as a people, how we losing the war. The future for us don't look bright. It don't look good. And all this has to do with lack of information, getting involved in the streets, not learning from your environment, well, actually learning the bad things from your environment instead of the good things in our environment. These people, and y'all know when I say these people, who I'm talking about, the same one that controlled the system. And this system that we have today is on a consistent basis putting out frequencies that continue to point us in the wrong direction. It is what it is. If you look at every era, every generation from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, up to today, we have went backwards as a people. We have went backwards. Y'all have to understand that this war, like when they said the war on drugs, it really was a war on land. That's always been the war. That's always been the strategy, is to occupy the land. Because if you don't occupy no land, you can never build a kingdom, you see? And you gotta realize, most of individuals from the late 80s up to today's date, they got in the streets, they got involved in the street activity, illegal activity, going back and forth to jail, selling drugs, whatever it was. From the late 80s to the 90s, most of those individuals wasn't buying property anymore, but they was making a whole bunch of money. They was making a whole bunch of money, you know? Now the ones before that, all of the old heads that was like back in that came up in the 60s and the 70s, those guys was making money and buying properties, buying homes, buying warehouses, buying businesses. They took them guys off the street, then it put fear into the next generation to even think about buying some property was out of the question. The first thing a person was trying to do, put it in their mama name, put it in their sister name, and put it in their girl name. And 90% of them that did that, 90% of them lost everything when they got locked up. Now, check your facts. Check out your environment. Tell me if I'm lying. Yeah, we made a whole bunch of money in the streets. Yeah, we were getting that money up, right? But where it went at the end of the day? And what happened at the end of the day? You see what I'm saying? We lost. Yeah, we went and did some time, came back and had to start over again. But just imagine if the right information that you was able to attain while you was locked up to come out here and do it over again, what if that was in the community at the age of 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old? And you was learning that from a young age, how to build up, how to really build up to have what you need to have while you're on this planet. You feel what I'm saying? This is real gangster shit. This that real politic, and this that real information that you need. You know? Most dudes get in the streets, gonna take a fall. And they making money in the streets, but they buying material things that at the end of the day, they're gonna lose once they get locked up. They're gonna lose it. The first thing you should do once you're making money in the streets in any type of way is to buy you some property. Some type of way, buy you some property that you could hold on to. Because at the end of the day, that's what the war is about, land. Most of us that was involved in the streets, when you come back to the streets after doing a long stint of time in prison, you realize that some of the places that y'all used to own, used to occupy, is no longer going on because the Europeans came right back in and occupied the land. All the other ethnic groups came into America and they occupied the land. They know to come over here and buy the land. We know to come buy jewelry. We want to buy cars. We want to spend the money on these girls who don't give a fuck about you. Because that's a whole nother subject, how they programmed a different way. Y'all don't see these people done put a line between us and put a wall between the black man and the black woman? We divided in half. We over here when we supposed to be like this. In the 30s, 40s, 50s, the 60s, we were like this. We were like this. They put a wall in between us. Right now, it's two races. It's a black man and it's a black woman. They done divided us into two different groups and done pointed us against each other like Pisces and goddamn Serranos. That's how the black man and the black woman beef right now, like Pisces and Serranos. For real, for real. Half of these men don't know what they plan is because they don't have a plan. Half of us don't have a plan. We don't know we know to make the money, but don't know what to do with it. Buy you some fucking property. Go buy you 5 acres in the country. Buy you something that you can occupy. Food, water, and shelter. You gotta have that to survive on the planet Earth. Food, water, and shelter. Secure that first. Secure your piece of land, piece of property that you can maintain. Buy that shit, cash out, however you gonna do it. Buy that first. Put you something on it. Now that's yours. Put your mama in there. I don't give a damn who name. You need to occupy some land, dog. For real. You making too much money out there not to occupy, own anything. Most of us go to prison and come back with nothing, dog. It is what it is. And then the women, they so confused, is no unity. They don't understand. It's crazy, man. That's a whole nother subject. I'm not even gonna get into that. I'll come back later and break that down. But this programming that they done gave us is fucked up. And it is what it is, man. We get in the streets to make money to get this shit right back to them people. I'm gonna put y'all up on some game. In the dope era, when everybody was making all this money in the dope area, back in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, who came up? Who came up? Who really came up? I'm waiting for the answer. The attorneys. They came up. You know how much cash money attorneys were getting when dudes were catching a case? You know how much money they was getting? You know how much money attorneys was making during that time when niggas was getting knocked off of dope and catching dope cases and gun cases and they got money? They getting all that money right back to the Europeans. Right back to them. And what the attorneys doing? Buying property. Buying real estate. So when they retire, they straight. You got attorneys like in my city, Escobar, own millions of dollars worth of real estate around here. Because guess what? All that money that was coming in there, he was going right back buying real estate. What we were doing, buying attorney fees, buying 30s and loaves, Chevys, all type of shit, gold jewelry, gold teeth, buying bitches TVs and furniture and cars and shit that don't mean nothing at the end of the day. For real, dog, a whole bunch of wasted money. That was a whole bunch of wasted money, dog. We risk our lives in the streets to make this money just to turn right back around and to give it to them. Now tell me how that shit makes sense. It don't. You add it up. Do it yourself. You get a good run out here in the streets. Get your good 5 or 10 years in the streets. You run it, you making some noise. And you turn that shit in for 25 to 30 years. And you add it up. Is it worth it? Everybody ain't gonna have the big meat story, dog. Where you can sit back and monetize it for millions and millions of dollars. Somebody want to do a movie on it. Everybody ain't gonna have that. Most of y'all gonna be moving like that, but guess what? You just gonna get a bunch of time at the end of the day. You know? So just remember that, dog. This system got us programmed to go to prison. And when we go to prison, they come in and occupy the land that we supposed to bought. We supposed to bought all that property that you once used to see was for dirt cheap. Thank God. All of y'all who done been in the streets, who was out there trapping, getting money, you know what I'm talking about. When you was out there, you had all that money hid up under your mattress, or up under your shoebox, or wherever you had to hid at. And you were walking by all these vacant lots. And you done came back and see they done built up all type of shit on them same vacant lots that you could have bought for $3,500, $5,000, $10,000 cash. You could have owned over $1 million worth of real estate. You could have really been playing Monopoly, but guess what? We weren't thinking about that. We weren't thinking about that. You know, I was blessed to buy a couple of pieces of property when I was out there. But boy, I just think about, damn, boy, what if I really knew what I knew now? We all say that, don't we? What if I knew what I knew now? So That's all, man. It was just some game I wanted to share with y'all, man, because that shit been on my mind. I want to give y'all some real knowledge. We gonna still keep it real, let y'all talk to some of the legends and the street hustlers and let you tell you their situation, because at the end of the day, we want you to learn from that. If you hear me bring a guy on the platform and he said he did 30 years, I want you to learn from that. Because that 30 years that he could have been out here grinding, putting stuff in place, building. That's how they keep winning, dog, because we spending so much time in prison while they out here building, dog. They got time on us. They out here building. We in prison. So that's the system, dog. We gotta reverse that shit. So if you got a homie out there, man, and you see this video, let him know, dog, we gotta reverse that shit, my nigga. You got you some paper out there? Man, buy you some property. ASAP. Make it happen or you capping.